So, Benjamin from the Cozm, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and an absolute pleasure to have had you on the panel. And I wanted to tell you the good news that you have won in the technology and analytics category. What's your reaction to that?
No, it's fantastic. Really, really appreciate it. On behalf of the entire team that has been working so hard, this is an amazing award for us. We're also trying to contribute as much to the global mobility industry as possible, collaborating with others and sharing knowledge. So it's not just for the Cozm, I'm happy for all of our partners as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. And also, thanks very much for being a panelist today. One of the takeaways from the panel was how you felt it was really important for organisations to collaborate. And I wonder if you could just sort of talk a bit more about that and why, in the new world that we're going to see in the future, collaboration will be more important than competition.
Yeah, it's a good point, Marianne. So I think that the entire industry, the landscape we're in, the political landscape, and technology is going to change so dramatically over the coming months and years. It's important that organizations that have complementary skill sets or slightly different skill sets in a similar or adjacent industry collaborate, because I don't think any one company or organization, regardless of how confident they are going to survive this next wave of change if they don't collaborate. I would say that I think sometimes it's part of human nature to be overly focused on competition, and it may be innate in how we are as humans, but I think if we can suppress that urge and find ways to collaborate with others, we will do well in the coming months and years.
That's a fantastic answer, thank you. And I also wanted to ask you about how you think AI and technology is going to change some of the kind of day-to-day and repetitive tasks, and if you have any examples of how that's made changes already.
Yes, sure. So I think a lot of the repeatable work that's currently done by humans will be done by AI agents. They're like language models, but they can leverage tools and they can carry out actions. So one example is we had an individual called Gloria, where we said to her, after she described her day job, we said, we can automate this day job in about a week. It took us 8 days to prove to Gloria that the kind of repetitive aspects of her work that was keeping her really busy could be automated through AI agents. However, you would have thought that Gloria would be unhappy about this, but this unlocked her capacity to spend more time building relationships with key stakeholders, which she always wanted to do. So I think this is going to happen across the board in many different organizations, and we're going to see more people with more human-like jobs, leaving AI to do more jobs that's better done by AI.
That sounds great, and relationship building is obviously very important to the sort of stakeholders and the companies of the future. I wonder if you could sort of describe the kind of upskilling and the change in mindset that we'll have to go through in order to survive and thrive in this new environment.
Yeah, so I think, of course, humans have an amazing set of skill sets, an amazing brain. If you augment human intelligence with digital intelligence, which is what we basically call AI, we talk about augmented intelligence, I think you get much more better results, much more powerful. So for example, decisions around who should go on an international assignment, what kind of cultural awareness training do they need, what's the impact on their taxes, immigration, what kind of benefits are more likely to lead to higher retention, what does your program do in terms of diversity of staff, and there are all these questions which I think humans answering on their own will be nearly impossible. Yeah. But if you combine that human relationship building skills with some platforms that can allow that human to make more data-driven decisions, that combination is probably going to be much more powerful in the months and years to come.
Thank you, that's a fantastic insight. And what about learning as well? How can we make sure that lifelong learning is part of our sort of culture and mindset? I think you mentioned on the panel that's going to be very important.
Yes, of course. So I don't think we'll have just a sudden change in the workforce from a purely human workforce to an AI-enabled workforce. I think there will be several waves of transformations coming, and because of that, those humans will have to learn new skills. So, for example, only a decade ago, there was no such thing as a social media influencer. So we are creating new roles, and older roles are going away. And so, for that reason, I would encourage everyone to have maybe an hour every morning where they're learning a new skill, and also study the art of learning. So, there is a book I really like called Make It Stick, and they provide data on what's the most effective way for people to learn, which there's some surprising techniques out there that are really effective.
Fantastic, thank you. And can you sort of describe what it's like to be part of the global community and why Relocate Global and Think Global people are an important part of that community?
Yes, so my exposure to Relocate Global so far has been absolutely fantastic. It's just a diversity of mindsets and viewpoints coming together to sort of think about what does the industry look like right now and what is it likely to look like in the future. So I really think the way you've combined different specialists together in one conversation makes it much more powerful than this sort of forums that are quite narrow in terms of expertise.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anything about the industry or the future that I haven't asked you about that you think is really important to mention in terms of trends or changes?
The biggest one that I see coming that we are trying to enable as much as possible is the move from a very operational global mobility function where people do a lot of repetitive work that they don't want to do, to more of a talent mobility function, one that has more of a strategic impact on the internal business and business stakeholders. Yeah. I think the traditional view of just asking for a seat at the table is not very effective at all. Those individuals would need to be armed with the right tools to influence the business positively, to influence the talent strategy of the business. And I can think of no one better than an experienced global mobility specialist that understands very complex compliance requirements coupled with very powerful talent data. I think that's the sort of the kind of new role of the future that's being unlocked right now. And I think it's a very important discussion topic for us to continue to have. We're driving that as much as possible.
Yeah. And actually, that sounds like a really interesting role, and that actually work might become more fun in the future with this augmented human intelligence and machine intelligence too. Thank you so much for your responses, and once again, congratulations on your award.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Marion.
Great, thank you.